feel the need to just do an experiment? Do you like have a questioning mind that never stops talking? I do. And this morning I am doing an experiment. I would say, kind of forcing myself. I'm in experimentation mode. I can do anything I want because all I'm doing is doing and observing what it is and taking notes and using that information to decide then in future instances, was my hypothesis correct? Do I want to act like that in the future? And this particular experiment, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm leaning in to my authenticity more than I ever have before. And I'm just gonna like tell you all the things that are coming up in me as I'm doing this, because it is in fucking sane. Insane how hard this is. And for those of you who are sitting there like, this looks basically like any of your other videos, like, what are you even talking about? Okay, so for one thing, my hair, I haven't washed it in 2 days and I've slept on it and it's just like, up there, and haven't showered yet today. This thing on this side that's like fallen down, like, oh my God, of course I would have fixed that if I was like still in my old thing, if I wasn't in my experiment of like, what if you just be real? What if you just be what it is? Like, do you need to take all of these extra steps? Like, what are those extra steps for? And what really got me thinking about this, and again, I'm going to lean into full authenticity and I'm going to tell my story because I really think, I really, really think that there are parts of this that are universal. And if even one person can feel seen and validated in the struggle of their authenticity because I did my experiment, I made this video, cool. Like, I could tell you one person who's benefiting from this experiment, and it's me, because already I've made so many observations and have so much new information that I did not have before. But what really got me thinking about this morning are my sacred circles. And these are my Patreon events that I host once a month. And like, there's something about Patreon and that space that talking about it, like, even just right now, like, I had to tune in to like, what is that? As far as I told you I was going to tell you everything that was happening inside of me. So like, as soon as I started talking about Patreon, and this has always been true, it like constricts in my heart. Like, it makes something inside of me close down and like go into this like protective space, or like kind of pull apart from it, want to back away from it. And the thing that I realized this morning is like, because I was contrasting between the first couple Patreon events, the first couple sacred circles, and the last one where nobody came, and I was relieved because I didn't even know before I was relieved that like, I really just don't feel like doing this. I just really don't feel like doing this. And I showed up, I was ready, I was gonna do it. Like, I was going to put on the mask of being the host of the sacred circles. And I realized this morning, as I contrasted like those first couple and then these last couple, like, I'm tired of doing it the way I've been doing it. I'm tired of showing up in that space and being a fountain of love, which sounds really terrible when I say it out loud, but like that's what's real. That's what's like I feel like what I've been doing is like showing up and being like what would that even be? Like a busted thermometer that like no matter what temperature I'm taking, I'm reading love. Like no matter what kind of energy someone else is directing at me, I'm showing them this consistent, same picture of love. And that there's part of me that was identifying, like, I want to be unconditionally loving. Like, I desire to practice unconditional love. And that's something that I hold in high esteem. Like, that's very valuable to me. And I thought that I was being unconditionally loving, but I don't think I was. Like, and I say that because it's exhausting me. It's wearing me out. Like, wearing the mask is getting so heavy that I just don't even want to do it. And that is like kind of a wake up call to me. Like, because I think in my past, there have been situations where I would like be in that kind of situation where this is heavy, this is not fun, this is like draining me, this is like sucking the soul out of my body, kind of dramatic. Like, that is easy to project and to blame onto your job, onto your partner, onto your parents, onto your siblings, onto your bank account, onto like whatever. Like, we can find a guilty party pretty easily because that's definitely the easier, like safer psychologically way to encounter this dynamic is that it's somebody else. It's not us, it's them. And I'm realizing through the sacred circle, and this is why I'm being so transparent about it, because there's no one else to project it onto. I'm stuck in it by myself as far as like, this is my offering. This is mine. This is my space. I designed this space. I created it. I open it up and I step into it once a month for the last like 15 months. Like, that's been what I've been doing. And it's heavy. It's too heavy. I don't want to do it the way I've been doing it. And at that point, then I have the question of, do I want to continue doing it more authentically? Because like basically what I'm feeling is like I'm faking my way through it, and that's exhausting. And of course it is. Of course it is. So, one, the majorly fascinating question is, why are you doing that? Why are you faking it? Why are you being unconditional love even when that's really not the posture that's real for you in that moment? Like, whatever, something happens and then here's the response. And so often my response doesn't match what was offered. And I'm forcing a response of unconditional love no matter what they offered. That was kind of how I was defining unconditional love. But I'm realizing that that lacks a certain element of kindness, that like it's not kind for me to put on a mask like, look here, I'm capable of loving every single thing, because I'm fucking not. I'm fucking not. There are people who come in the sacred circle who I don't feel love, and then I make myself love them. And I'm confessing this to you because there is nothing more draining of our energy than holding our own feet to the fire and saying, you have to love the unlovable. Otherwise, you're not a loving person. Like, I'm forcing myself into a criteria of, if I can't love them all, then I have failed at being unconditionally loving. And that has such a catastrophic misunderstanding inside of it that's kind of just even beside the point, like a story for another day. Like I could swim down in that, another time. If you're interested, let me know. But like the misunderstanding itself isn't even the point that I want to talk about. The part that is really important at this moment in my life, at this moment in time, is the valuable system that we have inside of ourselves that tell us when we are not aligned with our own best path. When we can recognize that this is exhausting, this is exhausting, this is heavy, this is hard to handle. And then we go through the part where we try to project that onto somebody else. We try to make it be that, like I try really hard to be aware of the mirror that other people are for me. And so it really bothers me when somebody shows up in my world that I can't love. And like seeing that side of myself where she's judgmental and she's impatient and she gets frustrated and she has all of these human, normal, natural parts of my energy that at the end of the day, like I can't stand to judge them, so I would rather fake it within myself. Like it's so painful to think that I would judge them and that I would be disapproving towards them in any way. So instead, I shove my own real self into a box and make me be the one that's bad for being how I am. They can't be bad, so I must be bad. Like, does it make logical sense? Of course it doesn't. We're not in the realm of logic. We're in the realm of irrational emotions, and untangling this ball and this exhaustion, this pulling away from it that has always been a part of Patreon for me. That's like just kind of like a leaning back from it. I can see now it's because like, it's not Patreon, it's not the Sacred Circle, it's not the other people that were there. It's leaning away from the expectation that I have to be a fountain of love every second of that sacred circle towards every single person who ever shows up in that space. Like, that's not real. That's not real. And that doesn't help anybody, especially me, but definitely not anybody else either. When again, I'm over here faking it. I'm over here pretending that this is how I am. And that's not true. And again, that does such a disservice to people who are in their own world struggling because they think they should be more loving. They think they should be more patient or whatever it is. And then here I am being this calm, serene pool of love no matter what. And that's not real. And that doesn't help anybody. And what if the most loving thing I can do is to just sit there and be like, I'm confused. I'm really confused. What, like this part and this part, like, what does that mean? What, I don't understand. How did you get there? What's that part? Like, to be more authentic, to be more curious, because that's how I am. I am a person who constantly is making sense of life. Like there is just, like I said, like there's always an experiment. There's always a question. There's always a hypothesis. There's always like, what is going on here? How do I make sense of this? And for better or worse, like there's a lot of stuff I can't make sense of, but I make progress. I take bites out of stuff. I chew on stuff all the time. And to just like skip straight to love is so fake compared to who I really am. And so this moment, I feel like I am making a pledge to those future sacred circle spaces, which actually start today. The next one is in 3 hours from the time of recording this. And I do them on the fourth Tuesday of every single month. And already I can feel myself like, come on, guys, come over to the sacred circle. If you want, like, a reality check from someone who would never be rude, like, face to face with another human being. Like, I can't make myself be rude unless I am so, and this is a big unless, and let's unpack rude for a second, because, like, what the fuck even is that? Like, unless I get so lost in my authenticity that I just start saying what's true from inside of me, and then it can be like a split second after I say something when I'm like looking at past me a second ago, being like, what the fuck did you just say? Like, oh my God, you just bit her head off. You just, like, that was so offensive. That was so inconsiderate. That was so, and I start punching on my authentic self. I start telling her all the reasons. I start nitpicking all the reasons why that was unacceptable. And I feel for all of us in this, because I think judging our authentic self as unacceptable, like, raise your hand if, like, isn't that all of us? Like, isn't that, who are the ones that aren't doing this? And can we have lunch? Can you teach me some things? Like, my current life coach, um, one of the pieces, there were many. I watched her content. She's on YouTube and she does coaching. And, like, I watched her content for over a year before I hired her as my life coach. And one of the pieces that really, really resonated with me was, like, I want to be unoffendable. I want to be unoffendable. And what I'm seeing more than anything else is, like, it has been so historically painful for other people to judge me. And because of that pain of what it feels like for anybody to judge me or disapprove of me at all, I have developed this, like, like the pendulum swings too far then to the other side. And I have been so averse to judgment when I'm in my curated self, when I'm in my putting on my mask self, when I'm in control, when I'm deciding how I want to be perceived, I will skip straight to love. I skip past judgment. I wrap everything. If I have to be judging, if I have to be, like, questioning, I wrap it so much in love that I wonder, like, how much it dilutes. Like, again, my truth just does not come across. And I get tangled in these cycles of, like, trying to love the unlovable, trying to make myself take this shape that is not coming naturally to me. And what I'm distinguishing is, again, I think the most loving thing that we can do is to show up however we actually are, not how we think we should be. And again, I know that's a tall order. Like, I know that's a tall order. Like I said about, like, the little sheet that has fallen, and I didn't put my good camera on, so, like, the picture is grainier than it, like, should be, right? And I have my space heater on and I'm not using my good microphone, so the audio quality, that almost got me. I was, like, up and out of my chair going for the other microphone because they won't be able to hear me. And I'm like, this is how deeply I am living in the experience of other people, is that I'm not inside my own moment. I'm worried about these hypothetical future viewers and how well they'll be able to hear what I'm about to say in this right here, right now moment. And I realized, like, am I living inside my experience or am I living inside your experience, future hypothetical viewer? Which one do I want? And in this finite, beautiful earth paradise reality, we have the blessing of having to choose one. Like, when it comes to our thoughts, we can only think one thought at a time. So we can't be fake and real at the same time. And we can't It's impractical to expect other people to do things that we ourselves are not willing to do. And it has been my mission for years now at this point, 2 years, I've been consciously aware of owning authenticity and leaning in to the fire of being my authentic self. And it is a fire. Do not let anybody who is trying to tell you spirituality is ponies and rainbows and love and hugs, like, they're lying to you. I've lied in my sacred circle space on videos past me doing her best. She repeated things out of her conditioning. And she showed up wearing her mask. And so here I am, no mask, floofy hair, puffy face, haven't showered yet today. You maybe can hear me, maybe can't because of the space heater that's right next to me. I don't know, but I'm warm. I'm toasty warm in this moment. I feel really good. I feel really seen. And if that's something that you want in your life, like I've had a story for my whole life that I was invisible. I was invisible. I had this thing, like, I'm invisible. I really am. Like, people don't see me. And I've actually talked to people who, like, when you ask them, like, if you could have any superpower in the world, like, what would you want? And this person said, I would want to be invisible. And, like, why? And it was because she was so seen. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, you're right. Like, I have not felt seen or understood pretty much my whole entire life. And really the pain of that, the pain of feeling so alone, because even if I was close to people, they still didn't understand me. I was still invisible, the real me. And now to see that, like, again, it's so easy to project onto other people that, like, they can't see me, but, like, are you allowing yourself to be seen? I wasn't. I was not. Maybe until, like, right here, right now. Like, and I've had flashes, and I can get going on a video, and I can really get lost in my authentic self. Like, I can do that. But to start with the intention that I am leaning in to whatever's real. And love is not always what comes to me first. And I want to say I'm done second guessing, but, like, I'm done consciously second guessing. You know, we all get stuck in our unconscious, like, you're doing it before you even think about it, like me going to get the microphone so you guys can hear me. Like, I'm taking care of you. You're not even here. Like, I'm going to live for me. I'm going to live for what's real for me. And if you need something, ask me. If I can do something to help you, ask me. But until I receive a request, I'm going to live for what's real for me. I'm going to stop playing whack-a-mole with trying to take care of everybody else's needs, trying to get in a space where I can be love for all people, because I can't be. I don't know how to do that yet. And so there are times where I'm faking love, and I can't do that anymore. I can't do that anymore. I gotta be real. And for better or worse, that's what I'm gonna do. And so that feels lighter. It feels like this, like, clenching in my chest was clearly the response to my own expectation that I had to be this, that I very much had, like, a target of what I wanted to be inside that sacred circle space, and lots of other spaces. I mean, that's just one example that was really crystallizing things for me this morning. I'm done faking love. I'm either going to give the real deal or whatever else is inside of me being the real deal. Love is not the only good emotion. They're all good. They all have their time. And I am going to let myself offer the other ones, when they're what's real inside of me, I'm going to try to speak those and be those when that's what I am. And see what that does for this exhaustion to just leave my mask at home. Just put it up on the closet shelf, and I don't need to burn it. I don't need to blow it up. I don't need to like write hate mail to past me about how dare you wear this mask. She was doing the best she could from where she was. That, I mean, she was deeply impaled by judgment. And because of that, she took it upon herself to protect the world from her judgment past me. That's what she was doing. And really, that's beautiful that she would use her pain to help protect others from theirs. I can see why that was her guess about how to do life. Good guess. Good guess past me. Good job. And now I have more information. I've done more experiments. I've made more observations. I can see more clearly that the fake love is no better than, I mean, just not even being thoughtful at all. Like the fake love is just as much of a disservice as being completely inconsiderate. So let me consider you really. Let me be kind to you really. And that means honesty. Honesty. And wrapped in as much love as is authentic in that moment. And some medicines aren't meant to be sweet. Some medicines feel like they make you worse before they make you better. And I'm over here trying to force myself to be a sweet medicine all the time. And that's not real. Sometimes I'm kind of a sour medicine, actually. Sometimes I can light your shit on fire and burn down your old life in an instant. That's who I am. And no more fake love. Real deal only. Whatever that is, that's what you can expect from me here going forward. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.